And welcome back to my channel. My name is Starling Trade. So this week, as you can see, we have a lot of opportunities, or rather, a lot of fundamental news coming up for the week. All very important and major events. We have the Federal Reserve. We have key inflation data from for the pound, and also we have developments in the Middle East with the war between US and Iran coming to an end supposedly. And so we are likely to see major moves in the markets depending on how the news come out. So in this video, I want to walk you through the opportunities that I'm looking at for the week. I know it's Wednesday, but still, I want to see the opportunities that I will have for the week. Those are that I'm already in, and those that I'm expecting to see, and explain why I am currently short on gold, as well as the conditions that will make me either enter some trades or exit some, like the gold trade that I'm in. So let's get straight into it. So this week, earlier in the week, I believe, oh yes, on Tuesday we had the BOJ policy rate came out as expected. The data hike rates, also the Audi, although I do not trade Audi pairs. And today, I think 9 a.m. as I'm recording this video, it's 8:07 Kenyan time. So today, in less than an hour's time, we have CPI for the pound, which is expected. Inflation is expected to go up by 0.02%. And at 9 p.m., we have the federal funds rate as well, the FOMC statement. I believe it's going to be Kevin Wash's first press conference at 9:30. The FOMC statement. I expect to see the dot plot that will be placing future rate expectations for the FOMC committee members. Although I think I read somewhere that Kevin Wash is usually against dot plot. I don't remember where I saw it, but maybe that is something that is going to change. And later in the week, we have the CHF, their policy rate as well, and on Thursday, the bank rate from Bank of England. So big question for the markets: where will rates be headed? Uh, Most expectations are for the rates right now to be held steady or to be held as is. For me now, the big question is not what they're going to be doing on these upcoming rate decisions. It's where they will be positioning themselves for future rate decisions. I believe that the markets have already priced in, these rate expectations for today. Sorry, for this week. So I'm looking at future rate expectations. So for me, the biggest question right now is where will where will things be headed? So I'm short. I'm short on gold. The reason I'm short on gold right now is both fundamental and technical. So over the last couple of days, we have seen gold it's been on a nice downtrend from lower lows and lower highs, broke down below this, consolidated for a bit, pushed down, and it's come back to retest this support and resistance level. Could we see it push back down? Probably. On macro data, we've seen economic growth has been good for the US. We've seen a stronger than expected economy, a stronger than expected labor market or job market, and we still have sticky inflation, with inflation rising at 4.2%. So for me, that gives me a bearish bias on gold, and it gives me a bullish bias on the dollar. Why? Because when we see economic growth being good, inflation being sticky, jobs market performing well, then it typically points to the Fed being likely to hike rates. Yeah, the Fed being able to hike rates. So the Fed has a dual mandate, let's say, to balance inflation and the jobs market, and it's usually tricky because yeah, so maybe we could see markets were pricing in, maybe the rates being held at 3.75% or being hiked. The dovish bias, I believe, is getting weaker and weaker. So if the data continues to come out like this, then we could see the likelihood of the Fed, turning hawkish. As you can remember, I think at the beginning of the year we were in a cutting cycle, and that has shifted, especially with the beginning of the Iran war. So we could see the Fed having either to hold rates or to hike rates, and for me that gives a bullish bias for the dollar. And although the correlation is not perfect, a strong dollar is not usually good for gold, so we could see gold continue to go lower. So with as I said in the previous video, what gives me a bias on rates are likely to go is because the bond markets price expectations forward. So as you can see, the 2 year yield was pushing higher and higher. We bounced off from I think the highs that we formed last week and have gone back to around 4%. So I don't know. We could see it bounce off from this zone depending on what the Fed decides today, or we could see yields push back lower. So I'm just positioning myself for the most likely outcome or most likely scenario based on my analysis, which for me is likely for the yields to go to push higher with rate expectations, with maybe rate expected to be pushed higher. So as you can see, let me now switch to technicals. As I told you, I usually look at fundamentals and then look at technicals. So as you can see from the technicals, we had gold pushing lower. It's been on a downtrend ever since it hit the highs at nearly 6K. Oh yeah, not 6K. Yeah, I think at nearly 6K. And it's been tumbling down. So below the support level at around 43.50s, and we could see it push lower. So I'm already in this gold position. I think I made an entry around here. No, sorry. I made an entry around here with stops above here and targeting this previous low. I prefer to take this one clean move. Sometimes I usually adjust my take profit depending on market conditions. So I could see myself getting around 4K flat, or even lower, maybe 39.50s, depending on the market conditions. So if I'm wrong, and if the markets decide to push higher, I'll be taking an out around here. And if they push lower, then I'll move my take profit, and as I continue to secure profits with a trailing stop. So usually I don't really have the best win rate. My win rate usually plays around 40 something to 50 something percent, but of late it's been playing around the light 40s. I think right now I'm at 41% for the last 2 or 3 months, depending on market conditions. It doesn't bother me because of risk management. As I said, I know that sometimes definitely I'll be wrong. So as long as I have managed my risk, it doesn't bother me. On the trades that I have on my winners, typically they're usually home runs. Yeah, so that's why my win rate doesn't really bother me right now. So I hope for market conditions to in my favor, most definitely. But we'll see what happens. So again, we don't need gold to necessarily collapse. I'm just looking for a clean move back down to these lows. Maybe it will come to around 4K. My current targets are at 4K. We get there, then I cut my position or close maybe half of my position and leave the other half running. So yeah, depending on what comes out today, if the Fed turns dovish or yields fail, or the something, or economic data changes, then that would mean for me I'm out of those trades and I move on to the next one. So as I said, I'm bullish on the dollar. That means for pairs such as the pound, I'm looking for short entries. Although I don't have an entry on the pound right now. The only other position that I'm in is this BTC trade. For me, it's a clean flag. from the previous one. If you watched, I had a position last week. So although I entered with minimal risk because I'm not so sure about what will happen from this level. But for my analysis, it's a clean retracement or a clean pullback coming all the way to between the 61% and 50%, 61.8% and 50% level. And we have seen a shift, strong bullish push came here. We had an inside bar and a close below the lows of that inside bar. That gave me my entry. My entry was after the closure of the second candle. If I've moved my stop loss right now, but with my stop losses above this previous highs. And yeah, so I'm expecting to see if BTC will also push lower. It's been pushing lower. I'm expecting to see if it will push lower. If not, it could break above this previous high and continue its journey to the upside. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm not a prophet. I'm just aligning myself with my analysis. On the indices, this I've really not had any opportunities with indices in a while. For me, they've been a little bit too erratic. So yeah, I've not seen any opportunities on the indices, specifically your stock indices. That is the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and the S&P. The Nasdaq is looking like it could give me an opportunity, but that depends. If it pushes back a bit higher, it comes back to retest this support and resistance level, then it could give me an entry. I'm not sure it will. Maybe if it does something like that, then I could have an entry for the Nasdaq. Have not had a trading opportunity in indices for a long time. So I'll be targeting this previous highs. I think yeah, all-time highs. Yeah, it's the all-time high. That would be what I will be targeting, but only if this scenario is met, or if it just pushes lower from here and then bounces up from this level. Yeah, then that could give me an opportunity. Um, if it doesn't, then I would rather miss. I would rather see it shoot higher. If it doesn't come back down to these lows, I'd rather see it shoot higher than enter, and then it's not be a great setup for me. Sometimes you can have a winning trade, yes, but if you broke your rules, then that is a bad trade. It can be a good trade and you lose, it's still a good trade. If it's a bad trade and you win, it's still a bad trade. So for me, I'd rather miss the entry and chase price. So for me, because no amount of analysis eliminates the element of risk in the markets. And because I'm not a prophet, I'm just aligning myself with probabilities. And I have to make sure that I protect my capital. And that is why even on this gold trade, I have managed my risk. On this BTC trade, I have managed my risk. Do I know for sure that they move in my direction? Absolutely not. I am simply positioning myself on the right side of probabilities. So I have defined risk, defined position sizing, and if the trade is invalidated, I move on to the next. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it for this week. I'm just looking to see what I'll be keen to listen to Kevin Wash during the FOMC press conference. I don't know, I want to get a read on him. On Powell, it was a bit easier because Powell was someone who looked at the data a lot. If you listened to Powell's speeches, then Powell used to say he's waiting to see what the data will tell him. Yeah. For Kevin Nash, I think he wants to be more proactive. So I want to listen to his speech today and see, if I can get maybe a read on him. Is it necessary for you to have that? No. Again, it's my preferred trading style. It's just who I am. Yeah, if it aligns with you, do it. If it does not, then you find the best trading system or style for you. So yeah, I'm going to be looking at that. Future, I know for a fact these ones have already been priced in, so we could see market spike, yes, but for for the trend that I'm looking for, if it reverses, for the dollar to start going back down, or for gold to start pushing higher, or for BTC to start pushing higher, if you go into a risk on environment, then And then I'll just switch my bias based on the data. Sorry. So yeah, we'll continue to see the data as it comes in, and yeah, I'm just continue to hope for the best. So my gold short is just an expression of that broader market perspective where I am long the dollar or looking for a bullish dollar. That means I will be short on GBP USD, I will be short on Euro USD. Yeah, I will also be short on Euro USD. So we'll see. So yeah, at the end of the week, I know we'll review the trades. If I made any mistakes, I will see that at the end of the week review. If not, yes, but we will do the review to see how the markets have played out for the rest of the week. Now on Friday is going to be a bank holiday in the US, so there may not be much movement in the market. So I'm looking to maybe today and tomorrow. Although because I'm a swing trader, I'm not sure if I will close my trades. I don't like letting my trades run over the weekend, especially since this whole Middle East thing, the Iran war started because you would wake up, Trump tweeted something, and then you wake up on Monday, there's a ridiculous gap in the market. So if the war has really ended, then we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I hope to see you on the next one, and I will continue to make sure I follow my process and document all that for you. I'll see you on the next one. Ciao, guys.